I was, again, like I was a failure, like I was an impotent baby, like I wasn't good at anything, like I totally flaked and bombed every single part of my life, and I had to own up to that. And coming forward to that, I remember I just was so terrified because I didn't think my parents were going to judge me explicitly, but I knew that they probably had thoughts either way, and those thoughts weren't going to be good, because why would they be good? Because I squandered all of their stuff, and I let all of my values go by the wayside, and I blew through all this money, and
Yeah.
talked all this nonsense about what I was going to do, how I was going to be, where I was going to kind of aim my life towards, and I fell flat on my face, and I bombed everything, and it was all for nothing. And I
Sometimes being humbled in life and facing extreme adversity can be a gift. And it doesn't seem that way at the time. It feels excruciating to go through that gauntlet of being paddled and beaten and to be humbled in that way. But ultimately, adversity builds character. Adversity, a man that feels that he's perfect and feels judgmental of others. How far is that fall to be beaten down and realize I'm not above other people, and all of these things that I thought that I was, I thought I strived for perfection, and then I come to realize I'm not anything close to that. And being humbled is a big part of the process of becoming a man. When we're young, we think we know what the world is, and then as we get older and older, we realize we don't know what the world is. I just talked to a man recently, a colleague, and he said, "Yeah, like, you get into your 30s and 40s, and you realize how much you did not know, and then when you get to your 50s, you just feel like, man, I just want to be left alone. I don't want to deal with all these people and their ideas and stuff. I just want to be left alone." It's very interesting to hear this guy's perspective. I strongly believe that part of the journey of from boyhood to manhood means cutting the cord with your mother, and not you can love your mother and you can have reverence for her and you can have gratitude and appreciation for her for what she's given you in life, but ultimately you need to be your own man. And similarly with a father, I think every boy, every man has a connection with their father, whether the father's absent or present in their lives, whatever the connection is with their father. Men feel something with their father. They want to feel that they've made their dad proud. Um, but at the same time, the dad is not necessarily, being of the same mindset. The dad is a father realizes that life is brutal, and he wants to teach his son that life is brutal, and he wants to see that his son favor strength and be effective in life, and not be a namby-pamby to some extent. A man realizes the brutality that in life you get knocked around a lot, and it's not necessarily pretty. So we want our sons to be strong, and so a man will always look to his father and want that kind of nod of respect, of dad, I'm doing the thing. But a father is always in some ways guarded about just keep on going, keep on trucking. I think from a boy to make the journey into manhood, a man must look at his father and have a moment of conflict to say, I'm tired of, I feel disrespected by you to some extent, or I feel that, this is who I am and I am asserting myself. This is who I am as a man, and I stand before you, and you will treat me as a man. I think that is an inherent requirement that men must go through that they don't necessarily think about. Even if you have a great dad that he feels very supportive, I think part of the process is to assert yourself as a man to your father and have a level of conflict. Sometimes it requires an explosion of what your current relationship is with your father, to say, Dad, I felt disrespected in this moment. I felt that you've disrespected me in the past, and I'm not going to take that anymore. I am a man now, and you will respect me as a man. that's very powerful. And a lot of people feel like, I'm in the men's support group space, and a lot of men will say, my dad's really difficult to get through, or my dad was raised in a different generation where men were harder and they didn't talk about emotions and they didn't talk about this and they didn't talk about this. I don't care what the situation is. I think at the end of the day, to not feel burdened by your father, because a lot of men feel that their fathers are overreaching, or they don't respect boundaries. Well, that is the issue entirely. If you are a man, you are going to push back. It doesn't matter if it's your wife, if it's your neighbor, if it's a family friend. It does not matter if it's your dad. If your dad breaks your boundaries, you are going to speak up. You are going to have balls in your pants, and you're going to have a voice in your throat. And you will say, "Dad, I'm not a boy. I am a boy no longer. And you pissed me off, and I'm coming at you. And you're not talking to a boy. You're talking to a man now. And I'm willing to have respect for you, but you're going to have respect for me." And I think that for me is a large, we are missing these conversations about what it means to go from a boyhood to manhood. And it's unfortunate because it's, a lot of it has to do with drawing boundaries and defining who you are and standing on that and not allowing other people to move you from that frame. Sorry for the long rant, but this is a topic that is near and dear to my heart.